saw him again today. Same face, same voice, same weak version of me, trying to come back. He didn't look different. He didn't sound different. That's what makes it dangerous. He told me to slow down, to rest, to wait until I feel ready. Not aggressively, not like an enemy, like someone trying to protect me. And for a second, I almost listened, because I've listened to him before, not once, not twice, for years. That voice feels normal, familiar, safe. It doesn't feel like weakness. It feels like logic. But that's the problem. That's how he survives. Not by forcing you, but by convincing you. Just today, you deserve a break. Start tomorrow. Simple lines. But every time you agree, you give him control. And I gave him control. Again and again. Day after day. I thought I was resting. I thought I was waiting. But I wasn't waiting. I was becoming him. Slowly, without noticing. That version started taking over everything. My habits, my mindset, my identity. Until one day, it didn't feel like a choice anymore. It felt like, this is just who I am. And that's where people lose. Not when they fail, but when they accept it. I was getting close to that point. Becoming someone who talks about change, but never actually changes. Someone who knows exactly what to do, but keeps avoiding it. From the outside, everything looked normal. But inside, I knew the truth. I was losing to myself. So today, when that voice came back again, same excuses, same comfort, same lies, I didn't ignore him. I didn't argue. I didn't negotiate. I ended him. I know exactly how he thinks. Because I used to be him. Not a different person. Not some separate version. Me. The one who hides behind tomorrow. The one who always has a reason. The one who says, I'll start soon. But never actually starts. The one who chooses comfort at the exact moment it matters most. Not when it's easy, but when it's hard. That's where he lives, in the moments where effort is required, and excuses feel easier. He made everything sound reasonable. That's why I trusted him. Skip today, you'll make up for it. Take it easy, you deserve it. Start later, no one's watching. And the scary part? It didn't feel wrong. It felt justified, logical, even smart. Like I was protecting myself instead of destroying myself. But every time I listened, I lost something. Not immediately, not in a way anyone could see, but slowly and quietly, I lost respect for myself. Because deep down, I knew I was capable of more. I knew I was avoiding the work. I knew I was lying to myself. And every time I chose the easy way, that voice inside me got weaker. The one that wanted discipline. The one that wanted growth. The one that wanted more. It started fading. And in its place, he got stronger. Comfort got stronger. Excuses got stronger. Avoidance became normal. Piece by piece, he rebuilt me. Not into someone powerful, but into someone comfortable with being average. And that's the most dangerous place to be. Not failing, not struggling, comfortable. Because when you're failing, you feel it. You react. You try to fix it. But when you're comfortable, you stay. You stay stuck in a version of life that feels okay, but never becomes anything more. That's what he turned me into. Someone who talks about goals, but doesn't chase them. Someone who knows the path, but never walks it. And the worst part? No one else saw it. From the outside, I looked fine. I was functioning. I was normal. But inside, I was collapsing. Slowly losing control, slowly losing direction. Becoming someone I couldn't even respect. And the hardest truth, I let it happen. Not once, not by accident. Every single day, I chose it. And every choice made him stronger. Until one day, he didn't feel like a voice anymore. He felt like me. There was no rock bottom moment, no dramatic failure, no one day where everything collapsed. That's what makes it dangerous, because I kept waiting for that moment, something big, something painful enough to force me to change. But it never came. Instead, it was quiet, a slow realization that kept getting harder to ignore. I started noticing patterns, same excuses, same delays, same results. Different days, the same version of me. That's when it hit me. Nothing is going to change. Not because I can't change, but because I'm not choosing to. And that truth, it doesn't motivate you. It exposes you. Because now you can't blame time. You can't blame circumstances. You can't blame anyone else. It's just you versus you. And one side is winning. The side that avoids, the side that delays, the side that stays comfortable. That version was taking everything. My discipline, my focus, my future. Slowly, without resistance. And I realized something brutal. If I don't stop this version of me, he's going to decide my entire life. Not in one big failure, but in small daily choices that lead nowhere. That's when the decision happened. Not emotional, not loud, clear. I stopped seeing him as me. I saw him as a pattern, a system, a version that I built and kept feeding. And once you see it like that, you can't unsee it. Because now you understand, this isn't who you are. This is who you've been practicing. And anything you practice long enough becomes permanent. Unless you break it. That's when I stopped negotiating. No more one last time. No more, I'll fix it tomorrow. Because tomorrow is where he lives. And every time I said tomorrow, I was choosing him. So I made a decision most people avoid their entire life. I chose discomfort every single time. Not when I felt ready, not when I was motivated, but exactly when I didn't want to, because that's where he had control. And that's where I had to take it back. That was the moment everything shifted. Not externally, not instantly, internally. The moment I stopped being controlled and started taking control. And once that switch happens, there's no going back to ignorance. You see the pattern. You feel the resistance. And now, you have a choice every single time. Him or you. So I stopped waiting. Not for motivation. Not for the right mood. Not for the perfect moment. Because I realized something simple. If I keep waiting, I keep losing. Waiting was never neutral. It was always costing me something. I stopped negotiating with that voice. No more deals, no more after this, or just today. Every time it spoke, I did the opposite. Not because I felt strong, but because I was done being controlled. When he said sleep, I got up. When he said quit, I pushed harder. When he said later, I did it immediately. Didn't feel powerful at first. It felt forced, uncomfortable. Like I was fighting myself every second, but that's exactly what it was, a fight. And for the first time, I wasn't losing it. Discipline wasn't motivation. It wasn't some emotional state I had to reach. It was action. Repeated action. Doing what needed to be done, especially when I didn't feel like it. Because feelings change, they always have. But actions build something permanent. Every time I moved instead of delaying, I took control back. Every time I followed through instead of quitting, I weakened that version of me. Not instantly, not completely, but consistently. And consistency is what kills it. I stopped focusing on results, stopped thinking about how far I had to go, because that's where most people break. They look at the gap and get overwhelmed. I focus on one thing: execution. Just do it today. Just show up today. Just don't fold today. That's it. No big plans, no perfect systems, just daily proof that I'm not the same person anymore. Because identity doesn't change in one decision. It changes in repeated decisions. The same choice, made again and again, until it becomes automatic. That's when control starts to lock in. I built structure where there was chaos. I created rules where there used to be excuses. Not flexible rules, not optional rules, fixed standards. No matter how I feel, I move. No matter how tired I am, I show up. No matter how hard it gets, I don't negotiate. That's the difference now. Before, I needed motivation to act. Now, I act without it. Before, I followed how I felt. Now, feelings don't decide anything. And something changes when you live like that. You stop doubting yourself. Not because life gets easier, but because you trust your actions. You know you'll do what needs to be done. That's where real confidence comes from. Not talk, not hype, proof. At the same time, I became selective. Not everything deserves my time. Not everything deserves my energy. I don't react to everything anymore. I don't give attention to things that don't move me forward. Because now I understand. Every reaction is a choice. Every distraction is a cost. And I'm not paying for things that don't matter anymore. This isn't about becoming perfect. This isn't about never feeling weak again. That voice is still there. It still shows up. It still tries. But now it doesn't control me. Now it gets ignored. Now it gets overpowered. Now it gets replaced by action. That's the shift. From thinking to doing. From waiting to moving. From being controlled to taking control. And once you start living like that, even for a few days, you feel it. You're different. Not because you said you would change, but because you actually did something about it. At some point, it stops feeling like effort, not because it gets easier, but because you stop questioning it. The decision is already made. There's nothing left to debate. You don't wake up and ask, should I do it today? You wake up and you do it. That's a shift. Before, everything depended on how I felt. If I felt good, I moved. If I didn't, I stopped. Now, feelings don't decide anything. They show up, and I move anyway. Because this isn't about motivation anymore. It's about identity. I'm not trying to be disciplined. I am disciplined. That's the difference. It's not something I turn on and off. It's not something I wait to feel. It's built into how I operate now, like a default setting that doesn't change based on mood. And once that locks in, everything changes. You stop negotiating. Completely. No more just this once. No more, I'll fix it later. Because you already know where that leads. You've seen that version of yourself. And you're not going back there. Not again. You start moving differently. You talk less about what you're going to do and just do it. You don't need validation. You don't need anyone watching. You don't need approval. Because you're not performing anymore. You're building. Quietly. Consistently. Relentlessly. And people notice it. Not because you say anything, but because your actions don't match the average anymore. You don't react the same. You don't hesitate the same. You don't fold under pressure the same. There's control now. Real control. Not the kind where you avoid everything, but the kind where you face it and still execute. That's what makes it different. You're not running from difficulty anymore. You're choosing it. Because you know that's where growth is. That's where separation happens. You've seen both sides now. The version that avoids and the version that executes. The version that delays and the version that moves immediately. And once you experience that difference, you can't go back. Not mentally, because now you know what's possible. Now you know what it feels like to actually follow through, to actually keep your word, to actually respect yourself again. And that changes everything. You don't need reminders anymore. You don't need someone pushing you. You don't need external pressure, because internally, it's already set. You either do it or you don't recognize yourself. That's the level it reaches. And once you're there, weakness doesn't disappear. It just loses control. It still shows up, but it doesn't decide anything anymore. You decide every time. That's what makes this version dangerous. Not emotional, not loud, not dramatic, just consistent, unbreakable consistency. And once that identity locks in, there's no going back. Not because you can't, because you refuse to. That version of you, the one who delayed, avoided, and made excuses, is gone. And what replaced it? Something stronger, something sharper, something that doesn't wait anymore. So now you see it. Not motivation, not inspiration. Truth. The version of you that kept delaying, the version that kept choosing comfort, the version that kept saying tomorrow. That wasn't harmless. It was building something. And now you're living with it. You don't need another video. You don't need more advice. You don't need a new strategy, because deep down, you already know what needs to be done. You've always known. The problem was never clarity. The problem was action. You knew when you were wasting time. You knew when you were avoiding work. You knew when you were choosing the easy way out. And you still did it. That's the truth. Not because you're incapable, but because you kept allowing it. You kept giving that version of you control. Again, and again, and again, until it became normal, until it became you. So now the question isn't, can you change? The question is, are you finally done? Done being the person who talks but doesn't act. Done being the person who knows but doesn't move. Done being the person who keeps restarting and never finished. Because if you're not done, nothing changes. You'll watch this, feel something for a few minutes, maybe even tell yourself this time is different. And then tomorrow, you'll do the same thing again. Same habits, same delays, same life. That's how it works. Not because life is unfair, but because you didn't decide. And if that sounds harsh, good. Because you need to hear it like this. No sugar, no comfort, no lies, just reality. You are exactly where your actions have placed you. And if you keep repeating them, you already know where you're going. So stop pretending you need more time. Stop pretending you're almost ready. Stop pretending tomorrow's going to be different. When you're the one making the same choices, this is the moment. Not a big moment, not a dramatic one, a real one, where you either keep going the same way or you finally break the pattern. And breaking it doesn't look exciting. It looks simple. You do the work today. You move when you don't feel like it. You show up without negotiation. That's it. No big speech, no perfect plan. Just one decision, followed by action. And then you repeat it again and again and again until it becomes who you are. because that's how identity changes. Not in one day, but in daily proof. Every time you act, you're choosing your future. Every time you delay, you're choosing your past. So choose. Right now. Not later. Not after this video. Not tomorrow morning. Now. Because this is where most people lose. They feel it. They understand it. And then they do nothing. Don't be that person again. You've already been him. You already know where that leads. So end it. Completely. No more half decisions, no more trying. Either you fix it, or you accept becoming someone you hate. There is no third option. And deep down, you already know which one you need to choose. So stop thinking. Stop waiting. Stop giving that version of you another chance to take over. Take control. Move. Right now.